Go.
Hi there, everyone, and Happy New Year 2026 to everyone. Hope this New Year is going to be a lot kinder to all of us than all the previous ones. Anyway, welcome to our weekly DVMUG meeting. Today's Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. Man, time flies. I have, as you can see there, I have news. Some news. There's some late stuff that I added on today. Not today, yesterday. But anyway, and then we'll have videos, and believe it or not, one of them is regarding how to add money to your Apple Card. Anyway, links to all this stuff are on the DVMUG BBS, and John is going to drag those URLs, the links over to the chat, and it's going to be in the chat area also. Just to remind everybody, this is going to be recorded or posted on YouTube later on. I mean, right after we're done with this, so everybody can view it afterwards if you really need to. Um, I have nothing else as far as that's concerned, so welcome, and here we go with news. Well, anyway, at the end, those little hieroglyphs down on the bottom indicates that ladies will have the priority over asking all the questions, and guys will be answering it as best as we can. So let's move on and to the first sort of news item, but hang in there. So the next thing is, this preempted me. Remember to update your equipment. Your phone. I think a couple days ago there was security update. Make sure you get that done. There's some bad stuff out there that's trying to take advantage of your devices, so don't let them. Make sure it's updated, it's running up to date. And just want to add something here. For all of you who have your devices set up to automatically update, what that really does, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, John, later on or right now, is actually downloads the update, and then a message is going to come out and say, I'm going to update tonight if it's connected to Wi-Fi and power. So it doesn't automatically update. It just going to tell you that it's going to do it. Anyway, so make sure it's updated, and here we go with news. Not all that exciting. Apple loses a Safari designer, Marco Trivio, to the browser company. The browser company is a browser that's called Dia, and um it is AI centric, which means that it's going to go out there and get stuff for you to make your life easier. Now, that last sentence over there says Apple has lost 30 engineers since this whole thing, Apple AI, I mean, the AI stuff started. Um, I guess they're going into places where it pays a lot more money to work on for that place instead of staying with Apple. Looks like Apple's being slowly drained of talent. But anyway, we so far have lost 30 engineers. So hang in there. I guess we'll see what's going to happen next. My next item is But anyway, it's not. If anybody's got any questions regarding this, regarding knowing somebody's going to leave or what's going to happen to Apple or anything, but to me, it looks like Apple is being slowly drained of talent. Any comments? Go ahead, Jan.
Um, they probably hired a whole lot of AI people before because they were going in that, they thought they could do it themselves, I guess. Isn't that right? So maybe those are the people that are leaving.
Yeah,
I have no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rick.
I'm kind of in agreement with Jan that they probably brought in a bunch of new blood, and some of the old timers are probably saying we don't want to do it a new way, and so maybe got newer and bigger and better things coming. But I don't think they're getting. I don't necessarily support the idea that they're getting drained.
Oh,
I think
okay.
they're just getting newer, brighter people in. And also it's cheaper to hire new people too.
And I also heard that there's some people that are just retiring. So that probably adds to their current situation. So the next thing is, according to Mac Rumors, and this is not a rumor, Mac Rumors is just the website that reports on this stuff. Apple is struggling with key material shortages as AI chips drain supply. So what happened is before AI, Apple had no problems getting any of the silicon uh, as from for as much as or as many as they wanted. But then NVIDIA came in and started using basically uh, the same stuff that Apple is using, and this has got to do, and it's not only that. Now other companies are jumping into the fray of creating AI chips, and this actually has to do with something called glass fiber, glass cloth fiber. And if you read this down here, it is used for printed circuit boards and the substrates that go into iPhones and all our devices. And it's only produced so far by this one guy, one supplier, Nito Bosaki. So Apple at this point is looking in other directions to get this stuff from. And apparently, that stuff that they're looking at, the same ingredient, I guess, doesn't meet the high standard that's needed. So they're being squeezed by all these other companies, and we'll see what the fallout is gonna be. Anybody have any questions or comments regarding that? Go ahead, Nancy. You're muted. Nancy, you're muted.
Where is that man's factory located that produces this cloth?
I believe the stuff is out of Japan.
Not China, though.
No, but Apple is currently looking into China to replace it.
Thank you.
As to chips, they were talking about that this morning on MacBreak Weekly. Apparently, Apple made some pretty shrewd moves several years ago, and they're not. I'm talking about memory chips right now, not operational chips, though they make their own M series silicon. Um, so I don't think there's going to be a shortage there either. But as to memory chips made by third parties, Apple made some pretty shrewd advanced contracts a few years ago, and they say that there's no shortage of memory chips that Apple's going to suffer because they've got it all tied up in contracts for continued delivery at low prices. while other manufacturers are struggling. That's according to MacBreak Weekly. Stop me if I'm wrong, John.
Well, that's great to hear.
I also read that Apple pretty much had TMC tied up for all their capacity, but now NVIDIA is just chewing up making chips. So they're now contracted with TMC, so now they have, two clients to supply. So Apple's not their only contractor. So they don't have an exclusive with them anymore.
Hmm. Well, I mean, it was bound to happen,
Yeah.
but such is the current situation. So, but we'll see what's going to happen. So the next thing on my list here is this, and we talked about this, John talked about this last week. California's got a privacy bill. This is a digital privacy bill, not just one. There's three of them. What did it? If you that bottom link down there, you don't need to know anything else except that bottom link on the bottom. I double stated that, but anyway, if you go over there and click on it and go into the website, it'll explain everything what you need to do. What this is basically about is if you want to, some of us, and particularly John, because you're real careful about that, he's cleaned everything up as far as his presence is concerned on the internet. For those of us that don't do that, there is this bill that just passed through. You go to this website, you fill out provide all kinds of information about yourself and your equipment and all the stuff, and you submit it. And they will pursue those companies that hold on to your information to delete it within 45 days. If it's not done within 45 days, they will levy a fine of $200 per day per request. I went there and I looked. I didn't fill anything out because it's asking for a whole bunch of information. I mean, stuff that I'm going to have to dig into first. But there is a way to fill that out. And if you finally fill it out and submit it, they will have to delete it. Um, so if you're interested, that link, that privacy.ca.gov/drop will get you to that website and you can read all about it. And they give you a bunch of information, what to do, how to fill it out, and how to submit it. So for those of you brave enough, I wish you luck and delete your information. Anybody planning on doing that kind of stuff?
I did it and got it completed. They use the login.gov verification system, which is the same system you have to do now when you want to go view your Social Security account. So they need to verify who you are, your birthday, your social, your address, your phone, your email, and everything. And they wouldn't verify me, although I had already verified my Social Security with login.gov, but I just moved. I think it has something to do with my address. So they said, okay, we're gonna have to send you a snail mail code in 5 days to your mailing address, which they did, had the code, punched it into their site, verified me, and I was good to go. Although they're not going to start deleting the data for another 8 months or something, but
Yeah.
it lists 250 data brokers that have your information, and you could turn off the ones you don't want to have them delete. And when they do it, it's going to feed back and say, okay, your data was deleted from this site, and they're going to give you, if you go check your account and see who still has your data and stuff, it looks pretty good.
I went through the
Nice.
whole thing. It was pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I think they had to mail me one because all my mail goes to a PO box, and then I just moved my street address, and somehow, even though I've already verified for Social Security with the same system, they said, no, we can't do it. We got to send you a snail mail to your verified mailing address, which is my PO box, which it worked. It came in 5 days, just like they said they were going to, and that was no problem.
Okay, good to hear. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. I have a login.gov account, and I log into Social Security and that kind of stuff. I'm gonna have to do that
That in
too.
theory should work without making it without having to wait. So, but you do have to give it your full social, your date of birth, your mailing address, your email address, your phone number, all that stuff. Yeah, I think you maybe even your driver's license. They really want to know verify who you are.
Yep.
And then they send you a code to your email address or your phone that you have to punch in like a two-factor thing. So nobody else can do this and pretend to be you.
Can I?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
Somebody
Somebody
want to
wanted
say
to
something?
speak?
I heard some noise. No?
No, okay. We'll move on. You can jump in anytime. So, the next one is
Wait until I finish this.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna
this
mute
is not a
Marietta.
surprise.
I'm gonna mute Marietta. She's chatting. Okay. Go ahead.
We are going, Siri is going to become a chatbot. It's coming in 27. Um, According to this article, Apple has decided to not to be left behind regarding chatbots. So it's going to change Siri as we know it to become a chatbot in 2027. Popularity of all these chatbots have become too great to ignore. It'll be integrated in iOS, iPadOS, and macOS 27, replacing the current version of Siri. Knowing that all these other chatbots have a free and a paid version, we are wondering, or I am, will Apple charge? Will we now have to pay for Siri? I apologize. Excuse me. The Apple lady just answered me, so. And she
See,
said, uh-huh.
Yes.
The,
in the interim, though, the next beta test for iOS is going to include the new improved Siri that's taking advantage of the Gemini data engine and all.
yes.
Actually, should be released sometime in March or April.
If you'd like to schedule your tree work, please press 2. For accounting, press 3. And for HR, press 4. For all of
Is
I'm
someone
muting
on the
John. I
phone?
think that's John. I just muted him.
Okay,
Just mute everyone.
thank you.
Can't you mute everybody?
Who's Zoom user? I don't know who that is. Continue on.
But
Come on.
anyway, it's going to become a chatbot, and we'll see what's going to happen. I tried to add an article to here regarding AI, and basically what I get for about reading AI is it's a research tool. Um, there are some or were some instances where it came up with a different way of doing things and stuff like that, but it basically does research. And it does research on, according to this article, on very high, to very high standards, depending on which way it's pointed. So for those of us like me, I Google everything. Well, that's what I get. I think the chatbots do. Just go get the information for you. So that being said, hopefully it's all going to work out then for the best. So anyway, I have an extra couple items here, so just bear with me. Um, this thing, and I read this, I added this yesterday. It's called an info seeker, I'm sorry, info stealer malware database. I read I know headlines are meant for you, meant to grab your attention. But by reading this, it means that this thing has got a database someplace, steals your information and puts it in a database. But anyway, they found this database, this researcher found this database. It's a publicly accessible database that this info stealer malware over the years has accumulated. It has something like 149. By the way, it's disabled. This database has been disabled. But when they found it, it had 149 million usernames and passwords. It included 900,000 iCloud accounts, 48 million Gmail credentials, 17 million Facebook logins, and 6.5 million Instagram accounts. And they also found services including Microsoft Outlook, Yahoo, Netflix, TikTok, OnlyFans, what is it, Banash, Roblox, and a wide range of banking and credit card information. And it also included .gov domains for multiple countries. It was open to the public. If you go and read this story, it goes on forever. The database is optimized for large scale sorting. In other words, I guess you can grab a whole bunch of data and have it transported or uh, imported to your device or something like that. But anyway, I just couldn't believe this was just out there for everybody to see. Well, what I'm trying to say is it mentioned 900,000 iCloud logins. Well, I don't know if that means passwords because I'm gonna have to change my password. And I've taken a long time with this password that I currently have, which I remember, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to remember the one I'm going to have to make, the new one I'm going to have to make. So anyway, there are people out there that keep doing that, and we are out in the open. So go ahead, Jan.
Well, did you say that it was defanged? It's extinct now, or it's still going?
It's been disabled. It's offline, and nobody got into it. But it's just this info seeker, info stealer malware. According to what I found out about it, is something that we could have had on our phones or our MacBooks without even knowing it existed. So you just collected stuff.
Let's
Not,
move
not,
on. This is history.
it, I sure hope it's just history.
Somebody else will do it.
You know? Okay.
All this stuff is available on the dark web.
You
If
know?
you've got secure passwords and use uh, dual verification, and
Yeah, well,
you've never had the malware on your machine, you're good to go.
yeah, just disappointed, but
So
disgusted with stuff like that.
would Malwarebytes pick this up if you had it?
I have no idea. I don't know. But it doesn't hurt to run malware bytes on your equipment. So just if you have it, run it. If you don't, download it and run it and get rid of it. Doesn't find anything, doesn't find anything. You don't have to pay, it's free. I myself, I sent them some money because it did find something on my older device once. I sent them money. But if it doesn't find anything, you don't have to do anything. Okay, as Rick suggested, let's move on. So I'm just disappointed.
That was John, not me.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay, either one or you or John. Thank you. So let's move on to videos. And this
Okay,
first video,
I got one more news item you didn't mention. I was hoping you
oh,
were going to get it.
I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Would you elaborate, please, John?
Okay, there was new air tags released
Hmm.
yesterday. Air tags 2, and to use them, you need to upgrade to OS 26.1, and they also upgraded iOS 12 and newer, going all the way back to the iPhone 5S to take advantage of this. So the older devices can use this. It also lets the older devices keep using FaceTime and iMessage because it updates the certificate. So if you have older devices, you don't think they have upgrades, they do. Go check on your iOS devices.
It's 26.2.1.
There you go. Too
Yeah.
many numbers, too many upgrades. But yeah, if you don't think your old devices haven't had updates, go check because they do.
Okay, Rick, you had an item that you were speaking about earlier. Would you mind updating us?
Yes, the there's a good many people I think who are using Comcast, who are Comcast customers and have an at Comcast.net uh, email address. And those of you who do may have received a note from an email or a text from purportedly Comcast, and you'll see that it is comcast.com.outlook is the source, and that they are completely phony. And those messages are saying, as a Comcast customer, you're aware that your email is being moved over to Yahoo as a haha improvement. Um, and as such, we need your help in completing the transfer by clicking here. Don't do it. It isn't from Comcast. It's from bad guys. Comcast has, and I called and I verified this. Comcast says that no action is necessary on your part to transfer your email over to Yahoo. You will see a transparent move and you will continue to have your Comcast mail work with no changes in password, no changes in address, or anything of the sort. And people don't have to send mail to you at yahoo.com. It's still going to be Comcast, except it is no longer Comcast. SBC Global did the same thing a few years ago, and they gave up all their mail over to Yahoo. So don't click on those messages when you get them. And it's a dead giveaway when it shows Outlook in there. Any questions? Okay, bye.
Okay, I have to add something to not what Rick was saying, but there is a piece of malware or phishing attempt going on, and it has to do with invite. Some you will get, or you could get text or email from one of your friends or somebody inviting you to some party or some some for some one reason or another. It happened to me, and I followed up, and it is not. It is fish. It's a phishing attempt. It happened to other people, and I know that I talked to one today that it's got a different sound to it, but basically the same thing. It's an invite. You really have no idea who this is from or why it's from that person because myself, I called and I found it. What is this about? And they were totally clueless. But anyway, it's out there to get your information. So be careful because before you click on anything. So the next thing over here is this guy's got all the answers to Apple Mail. So this guy's sounds real convincing to me. So here we go with first video.
Humans are all complicated and nuanced, but email is very simple. You either have no unread emails or 4037. It's a simple binary. No matter how you manage your email, I have 6 pro tips for Apple Mail on iPhone and Mac. Number 1, redirect. So if you get an email that really should have been sent to somebody else, the traditional way to do that is to forward it, but that leaves you at the mercy of anybody else to actually exclude you from the conversation going forwards. But when you redirect, you're sending the original mail to somebody new, and you're staying out of it completely. To do this on the Mac, you need to add the redirect button to the toolbar. So you'll right-click on it, click Customize Toolbar, and just click and drag it in place. As of right now, there's no way to do this on the iPhone or iPad, but maybe in a software update. Number 2, you can customize the swipe gestures. This makes it really fast to throw away emails without even reading them, but you can customize whether it goes to the trash or the archive folder. You'll just go to Settings, Mail, Swipe Options, and then you can pick what you want them to do. You have different options for both the left swipe and the right swipe. On the Mac, you can change this if you go to Mail, Settings, and you go to the View tab. Number 3, you have additional categories of mail you can turn on. So from the message list, you swipe back, and then you have all these different mailboxes. If you tap the Edit button, you can turn on a bunch of extra smart folders and options. You can see threads that you've muted, stuff that's just come in today, stuff with attachments, stuff from your VIP contacts, and more. Number 4, if you have a small screen on your Mac, you can use this custom mini window to save screen space. You hover the mouse over this divider in the middle, and you click and drag it so that the preview window is hidden. Then you go to View, Hide Sidebar in the menu bar. Then you can make the window really small and tucked away in the corner. Double click on a message and it'll open in a new window. That way the message window stays small, but you can still open up a bunch of emails, even side by side with each other, when you need to. And you can still navigate between all your different message lists by hitting Command 1 through Command 7. Number 5, now how do you multitask in Mail on the iPhone? You compose a new email and it fills the whole screen. Well, you can drag the title bar down, and then you can keep reading, browsing, searching for mail in the background. When you want to get back to it again, you just tap on the little minimized window on the bottom, and you can keep typing away. You can even compose multiple emails at once. Hit the minimized toolbar at the bottom, and you can quickly switch between them. Number 6, you can get much better previews of the mail in your inbox. You go to Settings, Mail, Preview, and you can turn it up to 5 lines. This way, you can see much more of the email without opening every single email. On the Mac, this is in Mail, Settings, Viewing, List Preview. Those are all 6 of my tips today. I have further articles on how to schedule emails, undo send emails, how to use Hide My Email, all linked in the video description. I'm D. Griffin Jones with Cult of Mac.
I wanted to slow them down, but I didn't. But so here you go. I wasn't. I was taken with one of those. You can open all kinds of windows. You know, minimize it and then open all kinds of windows so you can see multiple emails. And I did that. That works. It works for me. Anybody else have any comments regarding this? Well, if not, we'll move on. And this is about Rich Boland. No, this is about iPad widget tips by Rich Boland. He's the guy that's going to explain real slowly what he likes the best. Here we go.
So I've messed around with iPad widgets ever since Apple added them as a feature a few years ago. But try as I might, I could never really seem to get a system down using widgets that was much better than just opening an app with an icon. But about 6 months ago, I started using widgets in 2 clever ways that made all the difference to me. That's what this video is all about. Hi, my name is Rich. I make easy to follow videos on how to use your iPad and iPhone, without going nuts. And by easy to follow, I mean videos that usually cover just a few helpful tips that make real-world use of your gadgets easier. Nothing complicated here. And if that sounds like something you might be interested in, please consider subscribing and leaving a comment and tapping the thumbs up button. That's the best way you can support this channel. And a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed. In today's video, I'm going to cover just 2 simple things: how to create custom widget stacks, and then how I use widget stacks. The goal of this video is not to tell you how to use your iPad. It's about how I use widgets on my iPad and why you might want to do the same thing. Okay, let's get started. Okay, first up, I just want to tell you there's a couple of things that make widgets useful. For me, they need to be informational, or they need to allow me to drill down into an app that I couldn't otherwise do by just using the app icon. So let me give you an example. If you don't know how to create a widget, you just tap and hold on your screen, go up to the Edit button, tap Add Widget, and I'll add a clock. One thing you need to know is that each app has different types of widgets. Some are more useful than others, and sometimes the widgets provide you everything you need, and sometimes they don't provide much of anything. So it just depends on the application. But here with the clock widget, you can see you've got clock 1, clock 2, clock 3, so you have different kinds. And then all of a sudden you have something called City Digital. This means you can choose the time of a city. So I'm just going to add that widget. And as you can see, of course, Apple has set it to Cupertino. That's what the CUP up there stands for. But one thing you can do is go in and actually edit the widget. So if you tap and hold on it, you can go to Edit Widget, and I'm going to choose the city. So I'll choose my time. I'm in the Eastern time zone. So I'm in New York time zone. So there, now I have my time. So you can see that the widget is informational in nature. And you can create custom stacks of widgets. How to do that is if we tap and hold, we go Edit, we're going to add Widget again, and now we'll add a clock even though we've already got the clock widget out there. This time we'll add Cupertino again. So now we've got 7:16 New York time, 4:16 Cupertino time. And now you can create a widget stack, and how you do that is you just tap and hold till there's kind of jiggling, and then you grab one of the widgets and you just put it on top of the other widget like that. And now you have Cupertino time, and you can just scroll back to New York time. So you've created an informational widget, and you've created a stack by putting them on there. But here's one thing you need to know when you create custom stacks. If you tap and hold on the widget, you need to go to Edit Stack, and you can leave on Smart Rotate if you want. What that will do is just rotate the widgets that are in the stack automatically for you. You don't have to do that. But I always turn off widget suggestions. And the reason I do that is because the iPad will just put some random widget in your stack. So you may have two clocks that you were looking at, and now all of a sudden there's a widget for the news in there. So I always turn widget suggestions off, and you can leave Smart Rotate on if you want. I'm going to turn it off here. And that's how you create a widget stack. Okay, here's where the secret sauce is, and this is really what I wanted to show you. Now I've shown you how to create a widget stack. You can create all the widget stacks you want. But here's how I use the widget stacks that make a difference for me. So the first way I do it is I group widgets by category. So I have a reminders widget here, and if I scroll around, I've got a calendar widget there. I've got a notes widget there, and then I'm back to reminders. That is a productivity stack of widgets. Over here I have news, I have music, and I have podcasts, and I've lumped those together. Here I've got a whole series of clocks with different times on them, different places. I've got them in London and New York. And over here I just have some informational widgets lumped together. So I have the date there, and then I have the weather. And so I've lumped these together, and suddenly the widget stacks begin to make sense to me. I could just have everything here in one spot. And that's good, and that's okay. You could still almost do the same thing with the widgets down here. But the next way I use widgets is where the real power is where you group by apps. So let me show you how I did that. So over here, I have notes widgets, reminders widgets, and news widgets. So right here is nothing but a stack of widgets for notes. And you can see I've chosen a folder, I've chosen quick notes, and I've chosen another folder called iPhone, and I got another folder called iPad. So now I can drill straight into that notes folder right there without having to go into Apple Notes and then find the folder. Likewise, I could go into the eye tracking folder where I'm doing some work on accessibility on the iPad. And here you can see with reminders, I have a list called focus areas. I've got another one with all my scheduled reminders. I've got another one with my today reminders. I got another inbox reminders, and back to focus areas. And rather than opening up reminders and then going to the list, I can just immediately tap focus areas and go into it like that. Just like that. Likewise, if I scroll over and I go to scheduled, it takes me to scheduled. I can go into inbox just like that. So lumping all of your widgets by app makes the most sense to me, because now suddenly I can get to where I need to be quickly without going into the app icon. And likewise, I have a widget stack on photos. I've got albums in here. So there's Cooper getting a haircut. Scroll down to my daughter. I've got an album of hers. I've got a whole stack of different places for weather. You know, I've got Myrtle Beach right there. You can scroll up. I've got Franklin. I've got Wake Forest. Back to Myrtle Beach. And that's super handy to me. And then with the calendar, I've got the month right there. I've got the day right there. And I can, of course, open it. And I've got whether there's any events scheduled for today. So I've got 3 informational things on calendar that I can see. So the idea here is to either group your widgets by category, in this case productivity, informational, news, and stuff like that, or group them by app. For me, both of those ways are useful, but grouping by app is the most useful because I can drill down and get to things that I couldn't otherwise get to by simply tapping the icon. Pretty simple. Well, that's it for today. I hope this video gave you a few ideas on how you can create custom widget stacks to suit the way you use your iPad.
So, did everybody hear that? That's his way of using it. I've got my way of using it, so hopefully this.
What's your way?
I got one widget on there, and it tells me the time, and I have no stacks whatsoever.
Oh, I've got quite a few stacks. In fact, one time there was a video I was watching that pretty much said you can get rid of 80% or a big chunk of the icons on your phone, just put them in a stack. And then if you want to go from reminders to calendars to notes, they're all on the first page. So you don't have to swipe back and forth. I mean, right now I've got time because Arizona isn't always an hour ahead, depending on daylight savings or whatnot. And then I've got weather for about 6 different locales, plus if I travel. But yeah, um, I
That's
find
nice. That's good to hear.
widget
I mean,
stacks very helpful.
yeah,
You know,
that's what these things are for, is you configure it for so it works best for
well, yeah,
you.
I mean, suppose you're going to Italy or something, so you set it for Rome, and then when you're there and you want to talk to somebody that's back here, you can look on it and just say, well, what time is it in California or whatever? And so you know you can wake them up when you want to.
Yeah, yeah. I uh I had to reach a couple of 3 days ago or something. I had to contact the Europe because this guy's birthday came around and stuff. And if it wasn't, tell you the truth, if it wasn't for the calendar and me filling all that stuff in, I would have just bypassed it. I would have left it. My cousin would never speak to me again. But I was reminded, and I was I did get a hold of them in the morning, although I just got up because they're like, what, 10 hours ahead? And I looked like whatever, but I wished them, and everything went well.
Yeah, like I
So,
said, so, I mean, it suits everybody's lifestyle, but some of those stacks are very handy.
well, that's good. Good to hear.
That's really
Okay, next
interesting.
one is,
I have quite a few widgets on my Mac desktop because I have two 27-inch displays, so I have a lot of room. None of them are stacked, though. I have them spread out, so it's like a dashboard where, um, so I can glance at all of them at once. But this idea of stacks is very interesting. I've actually never, the only widgets I have on my iOS devices are the default ones on the first screen that I've just left there and never messed with. You know, Kenji, I really think if my phone had two 27-inch screens, I wouldn't use stacks either. I'll have to look, but that's interesting. I'll have to look into widget stacks. So how many pages of widgets are you talking about your iPad or your iPhone mostly? Me, my phone. Okay. How many pages of widgets do you have? I've got um, I've got a big widget for actually I've got four on one page and two on another. Four big ones.
is there a limit on how many you can stack?
I don't think so. The one at the back where I was doing an experiment has like 8 different widgets in there.
Okay.
You guys hear the boom, boom, boom sound?
No, I don't.
No. Okay, they're doing.
Of course, I'm
Maybe your
filtering
neighbors,
in background.
maybe your neighbor's playing the Congo drums or something. No, it's like a pavement smasher.
I hear it.
Oh,
Dang, you got good
they've been doing
hearing.
this huge water main and sewer replacement project in San Francisco, and they finally got to my block, so it's going to be going on out there for a while. Anyway, I was just curious whether you could hear that banging. I'll mute now.
Thank you for the info.
Stacks
And
are limited to 10 widgets.
I knew there was some kind of limit on the thing. Thank you, Mr. Hornick.
But you can also put like two stacks of 10.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I mean,
If you
Yeah.
if you're going, well, 10 is limiting, well then just stick another one on there and go to town on that. So you got 20. I mean, you can fit, even at a moderate sized widget, you can fit, let's see, what do I got here? Easily 6 on a page. So that's
So,
60.
so if you had a stack of, say, 10 widgets, would you have to, is there a way to like have them pop out and show you all at once?
Yeah,
Choose one?
that would
Or
be
do you
nice.
have to like scroll like he showed one at a time?
I'm
You
not
have
sure,
to
but
scroll.
Okay.
okay.
Thanks.
Because yeah, if you had 10, you'd have to go scrolling through this stuff. So well, anyway, next one is how to resize columns to fit file names. This is by Gary, and he, believe it or not, he helped me out a few times as far as configuring my Mac. So
This description doesn't match the title of this. The description is
you're
about
right.
spotlight in the menu bar.
You're right.
Anyway, whatever it is, let's watch it.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. If you use column view in the Finder on your Mac, you're going to want to check out this new setting. So different people like to use different views in the Mac Finder. For instance, I like list view here because I could see all the items here with information in different columns, like the size, kind, date created, and so on. Others like icon view as it's user-friendly and allows you to organize things in 2 dimensions. But others like column view. Column view is very useful in that you can view all the folders in one location, and then you can select one, and then you can see all its contents, and then you can select another folder inside of that, and so on, each one opening up in a different column. But you always have access to the levels above. So if I wanted to switch to this folder here, I can do it in one click like that to change my view to see the contents of that one. I can do the same thing with any folder here at any level. It's very easy to move around and also very easy to find a file and then decide you want to move it somewhere else by simply dragging it to a level above into a folder like that. But a thing people often complain about with column view is the widths of the columns. So here you can see this first column is the perfect width for displaying the names of all of the folders. But if I select this folder here, I get a second column that's too narrow. You can see how some of the names here don't display. They've got these 3 dots in the middle and just the beginning and end of the name. In order to see the whole thing, you've got to drag the line to the right to widen the column. But if you switch to another folder like this, you could see this new column just takes the same width as the parent column here. And if you go back to this folder, you see you're back to actually seeing this column width. So it can get very frustrating always having to drag these to the right. You do have the ability to double click on the line like this, and it will snap to the perfect width for all of the content there. Also note that if in System Settings, under Appearance, you've got Show Scroll Bars set to Always, then you've got scroll bars here. You can't drag this at all or double click it, but you can use the small area to the bottom here to drag or double click, just like if it was a single line with Show Scroll Bars turned off. So if you use column view and you find yourself frustrated by how the column widths work, well, I've got good news for you, because starting in macOS Tahoe 26.1, there's a new setting, but you probably missed it because it's not in System Settings and it's not in Finder settings either. It's in the View and then Show View Options controls. And here you're going to see different controls depending upon which view you're in. So for instance, here, if I was in icon view, you could see I get different options here. If I'm in list view, different options still, and column view gives you still different options. So you have to be in column view to see the options for column view. And the new setting here is at the bottom, and it's a checkbox called resize columns to fit file names. And if you check that, what's going to happen is the columns will always automatically resize to be that perfect width, the width you get if you double click on the line. So with that turned on, now let's take a look in this folder, and you can see this column opens up at the perfect width. If I click here, this one opens up with the perfect width, and so on. If I were to go to this folder here, I get a different width for the column because I've got some long items here. And if I go back here, it gives me the perfect width for this one. So you never have to resize the columns, but you still can. You can still grab a column and make it wider or narrower if you want. It will just snap back to the perfect width the next time you bring up that column. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MacMost through Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You could read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. Now, one thing to note is that this setting is universal, as are a lot of the settings for column view. So just checking it here means that anytime you're in column view, it's always going to resize the column to fit file names. That's not necessarily true with a lot of the other view options, especially in list and icon view. Now, it's not perfect. For instance, here, if I were to turn off show icons, you can see it doesn't need quite as much space, but it doesn't resize the columns here. Now, if I were to go to, say, another folder like this, another one, maybe go back here and then turn on show icons, you could see it adds the icons back, but it doesn't resize the column width. So you end up with a few truncated names, but it's easy then to leave and come back, and then it forces the column to resize. I've even seen that happen when going to another folder. It doesn't get it right the first time, but then I go away and come back and it gets it right. But it seems to work the vast majority of the time, and it's easy to correct when it doesn't. And it also has its limits. Like for instance here, I've got file names that are so long that hit some sort of limit and it won't go to the full size. I do have to stretch to the right or double click for it to get to that size. And if I go away and come back, you can see it does have that upper limit there. I've gotten tons of questions over the years from people that wanted to know how to have the columns automatically resize like this. So I know this is going to make a lot of people very happy. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.
So did everybody know about that? It's just it's a recent 26.1 option. I knew before you could drag it over and you have to do it every time, but if you check that item under view, it'll automatically resize the columns for you.
Terrific idea.
Yeah, well, I know because before it was kind of tedious, but so they resolved it.
Yeah, I just clicked it on mine. I don't really use column view much, but still, if I ever do, so set it and forget it, right?
No, set it and forget it, right? Except when he said when the file names are a paragraph long, well, it's not gonna be able to display it all, but it'll stop at a certain point.
So I have a question about the what he was showing there. So clearly he has those cloud icons. There was the cloud column. So I assume he keeps his home folder on iCloud Drive.
That's what it looked like.
So what so I saw two different icons there. One was a cloud icon, and some folders had a cloud with a downward arrow under it. What those
The
mean?
downward arrow means that it's in iCloud and you need to download it to get the full thing.
Okay.
And you can also turn that column in view options. There's a checkbox for show iCloud status. Now, some of those icons show without turning that on, but turn that on, it seems to be better. And you can see, I think there's different things that it shows. One, the full cloud that's on your computer, the download one, and then there's a one with, I think, like a little circle in it, where it's downloaded.
Now, I have to add, it takes a little adjustment once you switch from list to column view to follow what's happening. Because from
Unfortunately,
list, you have to
it,
double click to open
it
something.
automatically resize columns does not work in list view, where if you have size, kind, name, date modified, it doesn't correct those like that. That only works in column view, unfortunately. I wish it didn't. Okay.
So I wonder how many, is it about what's preferred? In other words, some people use icon view, some people use list view, and some column view. I guess.
Different, it's useful for different purposes. I mostly use list view.
It all depends on what you really like, I guess.
The column view was from the Next system, from Next computers.
Right.
That's where that was invented.
Okay, well, let's see. The next one is Ellen's gonna tell us how to make sure you don't have duplicate contacts in your iPhone. And no, I'm sorry. I'm skipping one. This is in the beginning. John showed off his new shiny card. Here's Gary telling us how to add money to your shiny little card that you just got.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Let me show you 5 ways that you can add money to your Apple Cash account. Now, Apple Cash is Apple's system for small payments. You can use the Messages app, for instance, to pay people money you owe. Maybe you split lunch and you want to send them your half. Maybe somebody give you a lift and you want to give them a little bit of money for gas, that kind of thing. I know there are a lot of kids that don't yet have bank accounts with debit cards or certainly not credit cards, and their parents use this as a way so they can use their Apple phone with Apple Pay to pay for some things. But the problem is, how do you get money into an Apple Cash account? There are 3 or 4 ways that are widely talked about, but none of those really worked for me. Oh, they work, I just don't really prefer those methods. There had to be a simpler way to do it. And after just experimenting, I found an ideal way to do it that for some reason nobody talks about. It's not mentioned in blog posts. It's not mentioned in other videos. So let's look at the different ways I found to add money to Apple Cash, even the one that AIs for some reason don't like to tell you about. Okay, so first is the main obvious way to do it, and that is to simply take money from a card in your Apple Wallet and add money from there to Apple Cash. But there's a catch. It only works with debit cards. You need to have a debit card in your account. Credit cards won't work. And for me, I only had credit cards in my account. I really don't use debit cards. So I don't have one there, and it's just not a good way for me to add money to Apple Cash. But probably most people do it this way. What you would do is you would tap on Apple Cash in Apple Wallet, and that will take you to the Apple Cash screen. Then from there, you would tap on the 3 dots or More button at the top, and then select Add Money. And that's pretty straightforward and obvious, but it only works if you have a debit card. If you don't have a debit card, it's going to tell you you need to add a debit card. But if you do have one, you'll get to this next screen, and you can type an amount and then have that added to Apple Cash. You can even set this up to automatically do it on a schedule. Now, I just don't happen to like using debit cards, but if you're okay with that and you just don't have a debit card, another way to do it is to get a prepaid debit card. So this isn't tied to a bank account. You go to a store to purchase these. A lot of them are rechargeable. You can add money to them online. And some, not all, but some of those cards you can add to your Apple Wallet and then use to transfer money from the prepaid debit card to Apple Cash. It's a big mystery as to which ones work and which ones don't. But the consensus seems to be that if you simply call the issuing bank and ask them, they should be able to tell you whether it works in Apple Wallet and whether you could add Apple Cash using that card. And the thing about that is you could just literally take cash to a store and buy one of these cards with cash and then transfer the money to Apple Cash. So this would be the way to take cash and convert it to Apple Cash. Now, another way to do it, this is actually a very popular way to do it when it's a kid with the iPhone and the Apple Cash account, and the parent wants to let them use it to buy things at stores and such. That's to send money using messages. So in the Messages app, you could be chatting with somebody, you could tap the plus button, and then it brings up the menu, and one of the things there is to send Apple Cash. You can tap that, and now you can put an amount, and it will take Apple Cash from your account and send it to that person. So say a parent can take Apple Cash from their account that they added with their debit card or however else they did it, and say give $20 to their kid so they could buy themselves lunch. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MacMost through Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. Now, the last two methods require that you have an Apple Card. That's that Apple credit card. So I've got one of those, and one of the things about it is it's one of those cash back cards. You get a really tiny percentage back with each purchase. So what happens to that money that you get back? Well, you could tap on your Apple Card in your wallet there, and then tap on the More button there, tap on Rewards and Offers, and here's where you can set what happens to the daily cash back that you get. And one of the things that you could have happen to it, maybe the only thing if that's all you have set up, is have it go to Apple Cash. So you might get a few dollars here, a few dollars there going into Apple Cash. So when you need Apple Cash, maybe to pay somebody who you owe for dinner or something, you can simply use the cash that you've accumulated there. For a lot of people, this is all they will ever need to use Apple Cash occasionally. And now we get to the final method, the one that for some reason nobody seems to mention, but it works great if you've got an Apple Card, then you can do this. The trick is you have to open up Apple Savings account. Now, I'm pretty sure that if you have an Apple Card, you're eligible for an Apple Savings account. There might be a few edge cases where you're not, but you can open the Apple Savings account. This page at Apple's site tells you who can open an Apple Savings account and how to do it. You just do it through the app on your iPhone. I watched somebody do this the other day, and it just took them seconds to do it. It's just a very simple savings account. There's nothing special about it, and you access it through the Wallet app. And you could transfer money in there from another account and another bank, just like you would expect with any other savings account. You could also, of course, have your daily cash back go into that savings account. So even if you never add any money to it, it may start to accumulate a little bit, and then it'll earn interest on top of that. Now, once you have an Apple Savings account, you can transfer money from the Apple Savings account to Apple Cash. I don't know why this isn't talked about more. This is the method I greatly prefer and will use from now on. So you tap on your Apple Card there, and one of the things you'll see under your Apple Card when you have an Apple Savings account is your savings account there. So go into that, and it'll show you your balance and all of that. Now, you won't find a button here to transfer money from your Apple Savings account to your Apple Cash. It's not there. It's not intuitive, but you actually tap the Withdraw button. Now, the Withdraw button allows you to select an amount, and then you can withdraw from the savings, and then you could transfer it to another account or transfer to Apple Cash. So while you can't transfer money from any other savings account to Apple Cash or from any credit card, including the Apple Card, to Apple Cash, you can go from Apple Savings to Apple Cash, which for a lot of people like me is the easy, straightforward, simplest way to add a few bucks to Apple Cash when you need it. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.
So to send somebody money from your Apple Cash account, do they have to have an Apple Cash account? I guess so.
Yes. You text
I
it to
have
them.
no idea.
Yeah, you text it to them. That's what we do. do that for pay Ann for lunch when we go to lunch. You just bring up your wallet and you say, send money to Ann, type in the amount, and they get a text message with the amount and they have to accept it and then it goes into their Apple Cash. So you can send it back and forth. There's no fee.
So it's like Venmo.
Thank
Yeah,
you
it's
for
good.
explaining that, because I couldn't figure out what the heck do you need a cash account for when you've got a credit card. So that makes it clear.
Well, it's for sending money to people basically. So
Yeah.
share lunch. So okay, you owe me, you split it up. You owe me $8. I text you $8, and sometimes I fill it back up when I'm like, give her $50 and she sends it to me, so I have $50 in there to pay some more or whatever. I haven't done it the other way, but now they got the Apple Card, which is a credit card. You have to have that to open the Apple savings account. Then I can put money in there, and that is an interest-bearing account. I think it's 3.5% or something. And that's what I'm gonna do, put some money in there.
You can also tie your Apple Cash card to your checking account,
Right,
and it will automatically take the money
right.
from the checking account.
Same as
So you don't have
PayPal.
to have money accumulated in Apple Cash. It'll take it when it needs it.
Right. The Apple Cash account it's not an interest-bearing account as opposed to the Apple savings account is.
Right.
It's kind of the way PayPal works. PayPal, you can have a balance. When people buy stuff from me on eBay, that's how you have to pay with PayPal, okay? When you buy stuff, they tie it to your credit card and then they take the money out of there and then they pay it that way. And then PayPal recently introduced debit cards where you can keep your money that's in your PayPal account and use that as a debit card, just like a regular debit card, and wherever that you accept debit card.
Your protections are better with credit card than either debit card or your checking account. With the debit card or checking account, the money's gone. With the credit card, you've got some recourse.
Right, PayPal can use your check account or your credit card.
A credit card's safer.
So I was wondering about, because I heard that like Apple savings account, you get like 3% interest.
Right.
So because in my bank, I've got a savings account, I'm getting next to nothing for interest.
Most savings accounts are zilch.
Bruce, try a credit union. If you go to a credit union, money market, or sometimes some of their savings accounts, you'll find the interest rates are substantially better. Your regular banks like Chase or B of A or any of those, forget it. The interest rate's nothing, even on any of their highest accounts. You got to go somewhere else. Credit union's a good place to look. For U.S. Bank, except I have some questions of U.S. Bank security. I went to open a money market there, and they sent me a link to complete the application. Went to an insecure website.
Yeah, jeez. Huh.
I have occasionally found that on something like that, the link goes to an insecure website, but then you have to log in to go to secure pages.
That wasn't the case. They used a third party, and the pull down on it showed it to be HTTP rather than HTTPS. Although in the email it showed it with the S, but it wasn't.
I have checking saving with two different credit unions, and they both pay the same peanuts on saving. Well,
really,
the one of them on savings, it was good, and then they dropped it to like 2%. But the other one is like half of 1%. I mean, 1.1, 0.1%.
There's always online banking, but I don't feel so secure with online banking. But a lot of the credit unions will be 2.5, 2.75.
Well, I
So,
found our local credit union that used to be the county employees credit union was so miserable. I took most of my money out of it because they were not even paying 1% on a money market. But the beauty of a credit union is low interest rates for borrowers, for the
Yes.
people who need the money for car payments and mortgages and such. They're a boon for those people, and um, they're pretty well grounded as far as finance goes, and they're protected by the National Credit Union Association, which is like FDIC. It's a federal
Yeah.
guarantor.
I don't think
So
you have a
I have
lot.
a,
I don't
I'm
think you
sorry.
have Logic's credit union up there. They've been pretty good. Their systems are a little goofy, but their rates, what they pay and what they charge, are really good.
so, so Apple just released an announcement that the deal has gone through, so that everything is going to be moving to Chase in 24 months. The transition completed in 24 months is what their official online announcement says. So I wonder if any of this stuff is going to be up in the air as that happens.
Supposedly nothing's going to change. It's going to get a new card, I guess, and everything's going to stay the same. That's
Except
for
that
sure.
Chase Bank does not do interest as high interest as Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, the credit cards,
On the saving.
the savings. No, Chase doesn't do anything on savings.
Well, it's unknown yet. It's still a ways away. They didn't announce any of that, what's going to be.
The Apple deal could be different than dealing directly with the bank too. Depends on what deal they cut with Apple.
The thing I found annoying about the Apple Card and why I pretty much only use it for Apple purchases is the weird way you have to download transactions, and you can't just download them automatically to Quicken like everything else.
Yeah, I agree. That is a nuisance.
What do they pay on the kickback on the Apple Card?
2%,
2%?
3% for Apple Store purchases, and maybe a few other things.
But the 2% and 3% are only if you do it with Apple Pay. If you use that physical card, it's only 1%.
Yeah, that beautiful card basically stayed in its holder and went
Yeah,
went in
right.
the mail drawer.
Well, my credit union, the one I'm using, pays 1, 2, or 3% kickback depending on how much you have on deposit or loans with them.
Jan, you have a question?
Yeah, Kenji, what did you say about downloading information to Quicken?
You can't do it from the Apple Card. You have
How
to.
do you do it from other cards?
You just connect. You connect that card to the. I forget exactly what they call it, and then when you open the Quicken app, you just press a button at the top to update, and it just systematically goes to all the different accounts and downloads all the transaction data. Since
Works the same way with Banktivity does the same thing.
I guess I was always afraid to connect. I figured there'd be some mistake, so I never did it. And now I don't know how to do it. Okay.
It's pretty seamless. You can also download the, what is it, QFX or QIF? I forget what you can also manually download your transaction on your bank site and import that. But it's much
That's
easier.
how you do it. That's how you do it for the Apple Card.
Except how you have to get it is kind of screwy. We have to go in the wallet app to get it,
Yeah, right.
and then do it month by month.
Well, yeah, I was wondering though. So yeah, I'm still not quite clear on all that. Does that mean by Apple having a savings account, does that mean they're a bank?
No, it's Goldman Sachs.
Oh, that's where that comes in.
And Goldman Sachs wants out of that business because they've apparently lost a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not sure how they lost all that money, but apparently it's been bad for them.
They don't know how to run a credit card business. They weren't in the banking business. They wanted to get into it. And they didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Can we take down the screen since the meeting's over?
We have one more.
No, there are other videos.
Oh, it's 4:20 already.
Yeah, we have this one. If we don't have to show it, if we don't want to, this is the last video.
Let's see it.
Okay. You want to see it?
Sure. How long is it? It's not that long, is it?
What is it?
It's about how to set up, make sure, and I'm sure we've heard about this like that. Make sure that, and check if you have any duplicate contacts on your iPhone.
We've seen
I
this
thought we
topic
just
several
did that.
times. Yeah, I know. She's done multiple ones of these.
Right.
And
So
they're all
we don't have
different.
to. I mean,
She's done like three of them, 3 parts.
we've seen it. Okay.
Hi.
I have this one.
This one's different. This one's different.
Right. I have this one too. And
in this video, we're going to take a look at how we can find lost apps. You can't find it anywhere on your home screen. What can you do? And then we're also going to look at how we can find apps that are seldom used. And then from there, what you're able to do is delete those to just clean up your iPad. Now, before we get started, if you like what you see here, stick around to the end. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and how you can help support my efforts in creating these videos. Let's take a look at how we can find lost apps and reinstall them on our home screen, as well as find unused apps. Let's go over to my iPad. First, let's take a look at how we can find an app. Basically what happens, or at least what I've seen happen, is people will accidentally place an app into a folder. So as they are moving apps around, and then you drag it on top of another one, and they didn't realize that they did that. That app is now lost. I mean, they could go through every folder, but if you have a lot of home screens, or if you have a lot of apps, you're going to have to go through a lot of content to find that app. So what can you do? Well, basically, you just use Spotlight Search. That's what I do. So I don't know where that Apple TV app is. So what I do is I just swipe down to get to Spotlight Search, and then I search for that app. This was the Apple TV app, so I just type in here Apple TV, and there it is. And then from here, what I'm able to do is drag this onto my home screen. So let's go ahead and do that. I just long press on it, and I drag it, and I place it where I want. And now you're going to see that that app is sitting on my home screen. And if we look at the folder, remember I moved it into this folder here, you're going to see when I open that up, it is no longer in that folder. So basically what you did is you found that app and then placed it on the home screen again. Another way of doing that is going through the app library. You can just swipe over, and if you saw my video on the app library, you're able to take any one of these apps and drag it out and place it on the home screen. But when you do it that way, it doesn't remove it from a folder if you accidentally place it into a folder. I like to use the Spotlight Search. It's pretty simple. You just swipe down, look for the app, and then drag it onto your home screen. So that's how we can find our lost apps. Now, what about unused apps? If we have an iPad that we've had for several years, you're going to see that you have a lot of apps on there. This is my demo iPad, and look at how many apps are on here when I go to the app library. I have a lot of apps on here. What I would like to do is kind of clean this up. Maybe get rid of the apps that I don't use. How can I do that? Well, we can do this through the Settings app. What we're able to do is view our apps by when they were last used. To do that, we need to go into our Settings app. So I tap on Settings. And then from here, what we do is we go over to our storage. So I need to go to General. We need to go to our iPad storage. So I tap on General. And then from here, we go to iPad storage. I tap on it, And now I can see all the apps here that are on my iPad. But right now they are sorted by size, which is a nice way to view them. You can see what the largest app is, and then if you don't use it, get rid of it. In this case here, I don't use GarageBand, so what I would like to do is get rid of it. It's using 1.61 gigabytes. That's quite a bit of space. I tap on it, and then I can go and delete that app. But what about those unused apps? Remember, this is sorted by size. Well, what I'd like to do is I would like to sort this by when they were last used. All you do is just tap on that, and then you're going to see the option to sort by last used date. That's basically all we have to do. So I tap on that, and now the apps are sorted by when they were last used. So the last app that I used was Tabforms 5 when I tried to open it up. And then before that, we can see that it was Paste and then Pages. So the apps that I haven't used in a while are going to be at the bottom of this list. So all I do is just swipe up, and then we have to go to Show All. It's going to show me all of my apps in the order that they were last used. So I just go down to the very bottom, and these are the apps that I haven't used. So now what I'm able to do is clean this up by deleting them. So I haven't used Reorder It in a while. I tap on it, and I can go and delete that app to free up space, or just to clean up my iPad. Now, you're not going to be able to do this with all the apps. I also have Apple Vision Pro set up. I don't use this iPad for my Apple Vision Pro. This is a demo iPad. So I'd like to get rid of that. Well, if you look here, I can delete the data, but I can't delete the app. So some apps, and primarily they're going to be the Apple apps, some of the apps we can't delete, but if there's any third-party apps and a lot of the Apple apps we can delete if we don't use them. So that's how we can find lost apps and reinstall them onto our home screen. We use the Spotlight search for that. And then also how we can find our apps and sort them by when they were last used. And then what we're able to do from there is get rid of the apps that we no longer use. Basically just keep our iPad a little cleaner. So that's how we find apps as well as our seldom used apps on.
So that's it. Or if you find something or lose something, just try to find it and put it back in there.
So I have a question about that. So I'm looking at my iPhone, which is where most of my apps are, and I don't see any way to sort by last use in the app library, and I also don't see how to sort by last use in the settings.
I
I'm
think
not
he
looking
was
in the right place in settings.
he was referring to an iPad, and I don't know if there's any difference.
Yeah, you can
The
do it.
iPhone
Well,
storage
iPhone,
has the same option that he
yeah,
showed on the iPad.
yeah, I'm looking at it. It's the same.
Oh, okay. I wasn't looking there. I was actually looking in the apps tab at the bottom of
No.
settings.
No, it's in iPhone storage in general.
Got it.
And the size button, just change it to last used.
I mean, you got to do show all to get to the bottom to see the old one.
Right.
I've got a lot of apps on here. Way too many. Way too many.
It's interesting. It only shows the dates, the most recent dates. Beyond that, it doesn't say when it
Yeah,
was.
It was
yeah.
used, right?
Presumably the oldest ones are at the bottom, though. I would presume. Yeah, only the recent one. Well, geez, last only. Yeah, it doesn't show. It cuts it off pretty quick about the dates.
Yeah, the oldest one I see is New Year's Eve.
Wait, I'm not seeing where it has the order, lists them in order of last used.
Click on
Are
the
you
size.
looking in iPhone or iPad settings?
iPhone.
Under
General, and then for
under general.
iPhone storage.
Yeah.
What? Oh, general and iPhone storage. Yeah, and then what?
And where it
Application.
says, no,
And
under
then at the
iPhone
top,
storage on the list, in the column where it lists its default by size, if you click on size, it has up and down arrows. You can sort by name.
No, I don't. Under it says iPhone storage at the top of this window, but there's no list.
yeah, scroll down slightly until you start to see the list.
Oh,
list.
And you see where it says size in blue?
yes,
Click
thank
on
you.
that.
Okay.
And then you have to go down to the bottom of more.
I don't see more at the bottom.
Show
Well,
all.
all is what it says.
Oh, show
Show
all.
all.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But that wouldn't be, would that be the place to delete them though? Or
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but you can only do it one at a time.
Holy moly.
There's no way to select 5 of them and delete them all at once.
and I see that way down the list that a lot of them on mine are offloaded, which would have been from a previous phone because this phone has enough storage. I haven't had to offload anything.
Shall we move on? Do we have any, that's the last video. Should we go to general Q&A? Are we done with comments about the any of the videos?
So I saw that Sharon's hand was up for a while before this last video. Are you still here, Sharon? Do you have a question?
Wait a minute. Where are you?
What is it?
Oh, hi. Oh, do you hear me? Oh, sorry. No,
Yes.
I was just getting back to using Wallet, which I used the Wallet app on my phone, and I set it up through the Apple settings for purchasing I put in a firm card at Staples to get a new printer. That's all. It was convenient.
Oh, thank you for the comment.
Thank you. Kinj.
Okay, let's anything else?
I have a question.
A general question
Go,
or something
Kenji.
related?
Yes, general question.
Okay, well, anything related to the presentation, and we'll move on to Q&A and start a new recording. Okay.
Sorry, I got to
Okay.
take this.
You can end your screen share, Bruce. DVMUG members who are watching this on YouTube can see the next recording, which is general Q&A. The link will be on the DVMUG BBS. If you don't know how to get to the BBS, look in your MailChimp on Sunday. You can contact me or Ann how to get on the BBS. Okay.